with the radio station. That being said, we got Gib Robichaux in the house and Al Carter live.
Good morning.
Good morning. What's happening?
Boy, you know, Gibbens Robichaux and Al Carter.
That's a pair, boy.
Following those two beautiful women. Yeah, well, you
No offense, guys.
No,
but I wish we could go a little longer with Charter.
Y'all were great. I think that was very important what y'all did this morning.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's a chance to get some things, some wrongs righted.
Right.
It's a chance for the public to vent some frustration. Hang on, let me take this call. 447-6409, number into the dialogue room. But it's one way to get better. You know, just sitting here talking and griping about it is not going to get the job done.
Right.
I think we took a step forward this morning in helping some people.
They need that local number.
Exactly.
It's communication.
Yeah, it's all it's about. And we'll get that. We'll help them with that, and I'll take calls 10 minutes a day. You know, and pass that on to Caroline and hopefully get better. Gib, what's going on? Al, what's going on? What you doing up so early?
Well, man,
you teaching?
I'm teaching. I dropped AJ off at Nichols and for class, and I heard you guys. I'm like, oh, well, I listen to you every morning. I'm like, man, let me get in there, get some additional time in the evening. They want to come back and talk about some stuff. Just want to holler.
Good point.
Because I couldn't call in, man. Phone was busy this morning. It was busy.
It was a little rush this morning.
I called you last week about what Charter did for me. One positive thing.
Say that, Gib.
I called on that Friday on that.
Say that. Caroline, listen to this.
I called on that Friday and got a Texas.
Caroline, listen to this.
Got a Texas number. I got on a Friday with the 8th, the 7th, the 6th. And I told him that my old aunt next door and my brother down the street didn't have it, and I didn't have it. 11 o'clock Sunday morning, less than 24 hours, 28, 48 hours later, there's a man there on a Sunday morning, the nicest fella from Charter. And, you know, and I said, man, God bless you. And I even tipped him.
You watched the Saints game?
Yeah.
Why didn't you call me, Gib? I'd have gone to your house, hook up your cable.
We together and hook it up.
It took him an hour, and he put the cable, my whole line back on. Nice fella.
There you go.
There
you go.
One positive thing.
That's a good thing.
Caroline got one of them high-powered jobs. Caroline Tate, marketing manager. What is KMA? What does that mean? What is KMA? State of Louisiana.
Or actually Tennessee and Louisiana.
All right.
They should
Thank you, babe.
Put a picture on the card.
Hang on. Good morning. You're live, KTIB.
Hi. I want to say something to Gibbons and ask him one important question. First of all, I love when he's on the show, and I'm glad he comes on.
Me too.
And he always provides information about things we never heard of. I love his column, you know, et cetera, and I read it every month.
I forgot you had headphones, too.
What's that?
Go ahead. I'm sorry, Sandra. Go ahead.
And I'm a faithful reader, and Gibbons introduced me to Thibodeau way back in the early 70s. But I have a question for him about his column. Gibbons, do you make some of that up?
You ought to see you read mine yesterday?
Oh, yes.
Did you read about that little boy at the catechism class?
Oh, yeah, asparagus, yeah.
Yeah. Little boy said that Jesus had 12 opossums, and one of them was Judas Asparagus.
I know.
Judas Asparagus, and they named a bad vegetable after him.
Out of the mouth of babes.
I love asparagus.
Yeah. Thank you, Sandra. I remember that time you walked up to St. Joseph. You know, I've been 43 years I've been playing over there.
I know.
And I was waiting for you. And you and I did the organist and choir director for many, many years.
Yes, because of you. It's all because of you.
Oh, well.
And, Gene, I want to tell you that you're a great host, and you don't interrupt your guests like Bill O'Reilly does.
No, ma'am, I never do that.
And you don't shout, and you don't try to humiliate us.
No, ma'am.
And I didn't know you were so bright.
Yeah, that's the reason. Let me tell you, that's the reason I don't interrupt my guests, because most of my guests are brighter than me. So I am always willing to learn something, so that's why I let them talk.
You know, I love the way you play God Bless America before your program. And I haven't thought of that song in many years, although I've taught it to my students.
Yeah.
It's so invigorating.
You bet.
I mean, it just takes everything off your mind. It is so patriotic.
Yep.
Keep on doing that.
I will.
Okay, bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sandra.
Bye-bye. Kate Smith Hour, you remember that?
Oh, I'm not old enough to remember that.
Yes, you are. If I remember it, I know you...
Do I remember Herb Toops' sister, Joy, looks just like her.
Really?
And I see Joy sometimes, and I want her to sing God Bless America. She won't sing it for me, you know. I get Al Carter to sing it for me.
I don't know about that, Gibbons.
Good morning. You're live, KTIB.
You know, you interrupt Dr. Paul Wesley all the time. What do you mean you never interrupt?
Yeah, but let me tell you, he needs interrupting.
Yeah, you're right.
He deserves interrupting sometimes. Oh, yeah, that's a whole cat. You got it. That's a different kind of cat.
Well, you have to forgive me if my voice isn't very good, Gene. Of course, I have a lot of sadness today since this is the second day you have to go through all this cold weather.
I started to get my jacket out.
Thank you, William, for that.
If it wouldn't have been cold, it's cold. It's below 90. It's cold. You know?
Well, listen,
what?
Unfortunately, I can't stick around too long, but while you, Al, and Gibbons are all there, Gibbons just mentioned the catechism story, and I have to share this story with you about confirmation, if you don't mind.
Mm-hmm.
I was not at this church when it occurred, but when I was Gene, when I was in ninth grade, that was the year we had to confirm.
All right.
At another Catholic church in this region, and I swear to everybody, this is absolutely true. As you know, Gene, one of the routines is every child who's going to be confirmed has to pick a Catholic saint's name.
Right.
Right. Without naming names, at a church in our area, there was a young man I once knew. When the priest called him up for a roll on this particular night to ask what his Catholic saint's name was going to be on his petition, he actually said Erksleben.
Erksleben?
Oh, come on, Bill.
I swear to you, Gene, to this day, that is an absolutely true story.
You got to be kidding me.
Oh, no, sir.
He wanted to say
But here's the rest of it. Here's the rest of it. A lot of the kids, a lot of the boys in the church who were there when it happened, who watched Saints football, they started rolling in the aisle.
I can imagine.
And this kid was dead serious. He had no idea that the priest meant somebody in the Bible, not somebody who wore black and gold.
Oh, that's a great story.
Oh, man, I tell you what. You had to reach way deep to get that one.
Well, but I still remember when I was in ninth grade in agriculture class, two of the boys who were at this church the previous night when it happened, they were still laughing. The afternoon after this happened, they are still laughing about it.
Oh, my God.
Oh, man.
Thank you, William.
Thank you, William.
Take care now.
All right, buddy. Bye-bye.
Saint Erksleben.
Saint Erksleben. Russell Erksleben is a punter for the Saints.
Oh, I do. I remember.
You remember him?
Oh, sure.
Come on. Yeah, but I got one confirmation story real quick. Remember Bishop Kaiwet?
Yeah, very well.
I was an altar boy at St. Charles Church.
Yeah.
For confirmation one night. You remember the, what do you call, I forgot what you call it. The incense.
Yeah.
Well, you used to light it with it was a piece of charcoal, and you light it in the back, and you used to have to swing it to keep it lit.
That's right.
Well, I was swinging it. I was standing next to him to keep it lit. I caught his robe on fire.
Why am I not surprised that she would burn up a priest?
Holy smokes!
No lie. True story. Many.
So you didn't confirm it? Can you confirm that?
No, I was a little boy. It was during confirmation. I was like 5 or 6 years old.
Oh.
I was an altar boy for the confirmation service. And I was swinging that big thing. That thing was taller than I was. And I remember holding it up here to swing it. And it got up in there.
Did you put it out real fast?
Did I put it out real fast? It got up into his garment. You know, the sparks flew and it got up into his garment.
Put that in my tidbit.
Oh, man, I'm the guy.
Father priest on fire.
Father Jerome Rapolo was the priest there. You remember Father Rapolo?
Do I remember?
He never let me forget that. He called me the fire dragon ever since then. What a great guy, you know. Oh, man. Yeah, that's some of those things used to have. Anyway, back to Al Carter and Gibb. Insights come out yesterday, tidbits?
Yeah, sure did. The only thing I want to bring up today, I know you got to go, but if somebody gave you $1 billion $1 bills and asked you to count them out, how long do you think it would take you to count that?
The rest of my life?
31 years.
Of course. That's the rest of my life.
And we're
I'd be 93 when I
30,000 years to count to $1 trillion, and we're $12 trillion in debt.
Wow.
What a tidbit.
That puts it in perspective.
But I'm sure if I get $1 billion $1 bills, you're going to help me, huh?
All right, listen, Gib, I'll help you count.
That's right. I'm hooking up a cable.
I'll give you every 10th one.
I'll buy a chart, and I guarantee you people have cable during a storm. I guarantee you that. But anyway, you know, and we'll talk about this Monday, listeners. Let me put this out there for you. suppose, and I don't know anything about this. I want to get Bruce McMahon, Dr. McManus, and Dr. Lajani on from Nichols, and we're going to talk about this next week. What if we didn't bail them out? What would happen?
I know.
I don't know. I mean, I don't understand all of this. What would happen?
I don't think McCain's going to show up tonight.
I don't know.
The whole thing's political. You know, all of this is happening in a political year.
Yeah.
Right.
Sometimes I think these hurricanes knew that too.
I tell you what.
You know what I wonder? Why can't they just take all this money and pay off everybody's mortgage?
Yeah, that's what I say.
And
right.
then you'd
That's
have
the
money.
same difference.
Then you'd have money to buy stuff.
Yeah.
That's right.
And everybody would start off at a zero balance and start over again.
Remortgage, you got a better
remortgage.
rate and a better thing, yeah.
That would be the better way to do it.
It's not going to pass. I don't know what's going to happen.
I tell you what, if they're going to be paying off mortgages, I'm getting in line.
Yeah.
Got that right.
No roof and no charge.
Whoa, my adjuster came. Oh, listeners, that's another story. My adjuster came yesterday. We'll talk about that Monday. I got a couple of things we need to talk about that. Before we go, don't forget, do not give your hard-earned money to contractors that you don't know anything about. Make sure you check them out. Better Business Bureau, lumber yards, all of that stuff, second thing. The other thing is, if you've got an insurance claim and that guy writes a check to you and the mortgage company, call your mortgage company before you put a contractor on the roof. Find out how they're going to disperse those funds.
Right.
Had a horror story happen this week to a member of my family that got put in a big jam because that mortgage company did not disperse the funds properly. So that's another thing. Before you start your repairs, call your mortgage company, find out how they're going to handle it.
That's right.
All important, because man, you get caught short all of a sudden. You got a $9,000 or a $10,000 bill you got to pay today, and you don't have the funds to do it. Hello, you know. So you know what? Think before you. I think Woody had the best thought yesterday, and it's a doggone shame to have to say this. The average consumer today, like ourselves, needs to be protected.
That's true.
That's right.
That's a shame to have to say that in today's world, but it's a fact. Needs to be protected. So my thought to you is make sure you understand your contracts that you sign with these workers. Make sure you understand your insurance payback.
They have insurance.
Exactly. Make sure that the contractors
Right, then he can
have,
sue you.
Yeah.
That's right.
Make sure they're bonded. Make sure they're licensed. Make sure they're insured. Like I say all the time, call a local guy. You know, call Lee Rudder, call Norm Toops, call Chris Leday, call Darren Bourgeois, call all the contractors, call the plumbers, call the electricians. At least you got a trail. If they can't do it, let them refer somebody. Tenny's Roofing, call Wayne. You know, at least, well, I can't handle it. Well, fine. Who can you recommend? At least you've got some sense of a connection there instead of going with a fly-by-night. You got it. You got it. You know, go to the lumber yard, see who they recommend.
Sure.
Just, man, don't get caught with your drawers down on this, because, wow. A lot of, you know, if you're like me, my hard-earned money's going into this with that high deductible I got, so I got to make sure I got it right. I want to make sure I get it right.
Good for you.
So, listeners, hey, Al, thanks for being with us.
All right, brother, we're going to be here this afternoon, 4 o'clock, and Charter should be back again.
You got it. You ain't listening if you ain't listening to Al Carter Live, so make sure you're listening from 4 to 5. Gib, I want to reschedule you for next week.
Anytime you got.
Listeners, have a great weekend. Johnny Jam tomorrow, 11 to 12, Soul in Your Bowl, great show. Al Carter Live today, 4 to 5, great show. Make sure that you're listening. Have a good day today. God bless you today. God bless you every day. And I'll see you Monday here at Oldie 640 KTIB. 447-6409, number into the dialogue room. As you well know by now, got Gib Robichaux in the house this morning. Had him on last week, but he didn't have a chance to even do much.
That was so important, though.
Yeah, we had Charter on.
Still got some bad news about that. Clem Reno. You know Clem Reno.
Yeah, very well.
Still no cable.
I know, and there's still some people out there, and I don't know. We'll have to sit down with Charter when all this is over and do a program and see what it's going to take. But yeah, we'll talk about it a little bit in just a little bit. But before we go too much further, don't forget those of you keeping your thoughts and in your prayers. Loneliness that gets to you. You know, the lack of, and you got friends and you got camaraderie, thank goodness for that, but it's not like family,
what
you know.
What bothers me the most about Iraq is how hot it is over there.
It's hot.
And they lowered it down with all this
with gear and stuff,
no shower, no bed, God bless them.
You know, it's kind of like Vietnam. I mean, the heat was 100 plus with high humidity.
I was in Okinawa for 20
you know, I mean,
months, I know.
But, you know, I find I don't want to. You never ever get totally used to it.
No.
But it does become bearable after a while. You know, your body gets accustomed to it.
How did we live like that without air conditioning?
We did just fine.
I remember sweating at night and nothing.
You know, heck no. You had a fan and you had trees and your houses were built facing a certain direction, and you know everything was in tune to no air and being cool and having a breeze, and we did just fine.
Absolutely.
You know, in fact, probably did better off than we are now with air conditioning. But anyway, some of the ones locally we want to pray for: Brady DeLotte, who is back in the Carolinas; Matthew Barrett, who is in Denver; and Michael Lebo, who is in Fallujah. My Army guys: Aaron Bai, Jared Jerwa, Benjamin Hook.
Right.
We used to have to move them around all the time, and they had to be stored properly and all of that stuff. And now you're in the age of the computer, right?
Correct. There are two types of voting machines. For early voting, we have a smaller machine. It's a little bit more sophisticated because we have to have the whole parish's ballots on those machines. It is a touch screen.
I like that.
It's very nice. Everybody should come at least once and try early voting and see how that works. At the precincts, it's a bigger machine, but a lot nicer. You know, it's a push-button system where the items light up where you make your selections. And all in all, everybody has really become, you know, very familiar with the machines. It's been a couple of years since they've been using them, and
some of the older
voters
need some help sometimes. I know, you know. Eyesight on it, but it's very interesting. What I want to ask you most of all is this changing the presidential election from a Saturday to a Tuesday. Can you tell me why they changed it to a working day? You know when that happened, Gene? Remember, everything was on Saturday all the time. The presidential election.
Paul Leslie, call me. You're right. It used to be on a Saturday, and now it's on a Tuesday.
Why,
You're right.
Why on a Tuesday? Why on a working day?
Anybody knows that answer, give us a call.
I think did away with Saturday because Saturday's, fishermen days off and people going places and they don't go vote. They think that on a Tuesday. But
could be, there could be some history. Some of my historians, give me a call. Let's get the right answer to that.
Paul, right?
Hang on, yeah. Good morning, you're live, KTIB.
That's a federal election, and the feds control that election.
Was it always on Tuesdays?
It's always been when the feds call it. States have elections on weekends, but they're trying to get the elections on Sunday. Not more people vote during the week than they do on a weekend.
You're kidding.
I mean, if you watch it, I mean, they're expecting 70% in Louisiana this year.
This year.
So, no, the down through the years, I mean, the presidential vote is always, I think it's the first Tuesday of November,
right?
And every fourth year. So it makes that it's just like the president. There's only one date in the Constitution, and that is the president will be inaugurated on the third Monday of January.
Right. I remember that in class.
I knew that, yeah.
I remember that in your class, Paul Leslie.
No, I think you were teaching that class.
Yeah, right.
I want to know if Lafourche Crossing people can vote twice. We shop in Thibodaux.
Yeah, right.
And we want to vote down at St. Charles, but we want to come in and vote in Thibodaux.
You got to be a member of. We were talking about that very issue last night. You have to be a member of the city of Thibodaux to vote.
Well, I mean, we come in there and support you, so we ought to be able to determine about those potholes and things like that.
Especially Paul Leslie there. Let him in.
Okay.
Thank you, Paul.
Okay,
bye-bye. Yeah, federal election. That's right.
I didn't realize it was always on a Tuesday.
Yeah, and state elections on a Saturday, right, Tammy?
Correct.
Okay. And of course, one coming up this Saturday. And then, what's the issue this time? Or were open primaries, closed primaries? What's going on?
Well, actually, statewide, there were some closed primaries in September, but they actually got moved, not in this parish, but in some parish had to get moved to a later date because of the storm.
Okay.
So the September elections were canceled, and they're going to be moved to October. But here in this parish, we ended up not having a September election because there were only 2 Republican candidates running in those closed primaries, and one withdrew. So that candidate automatically goes on the November ballot.
All right.
So in Lafourche Parish, we didn't have to worry about that. But some parishes do.
Okay, so our November election, of course, that's going to be a general election, so it doesn't matter.
Correct.
Right? So the only time we need to worry about it is in the primaries.
Correct.
You know, what does that happen? You have to show your voter registration card as to whether you're Democrat or Republican?
Well, actually, the poll...
Or the voter rolls will have that?
The voter rolls, the poll books that are actually there at the polling places have, of course, your general public information that's public, your name, your address, how you're registered, so the commissioners can see from there how you are registered. Now, once you get there, and we had a little problem with that in February.
See, that would give Paul Leslie a chance to vote twice. That's why I'm asking.
That's what he wants to do.
Yeah, he would try to do that, so I want to make sure that we have enough security wherever he votes. Yeah.
Well, believe me, Mr. Rodrigue, the clerk of court, his commissioners, they get it done. They check everybody out. They make sure you have your picture IDs and get your information, and they make sure that everybody comes in once. And if anybody has any problems at the polls, I just want to let them know. If say you go into your polling place and you haven't voted for a while and they don't find your name on the rolls, let the commissioner call our office, because the register of voters, that's what we're there for on election day. The office is closed, but we're there. And when the commissioners call someone to resolve a problem, it's us they're speaking to. So we have the system in front of us, the cards, answer any questions that they may have. It may be that person changed their address and they didn't remember, or they moved, so.
How often, for example, let's say, do you purge the rolls periodically? Let's say a person didn't vote in 3 or 4 years. Is he or she still going to be on the rolls?
Well, if a person does not go out and vote in 2 federal elections, okay, what happens is normally they would get purged in around December area, in the December time frame.
Okay.
Most of the time it is if that person has something incorrect, if they have, it's called an I, we call it an irregularity on their registration. Say if they moved and they didn't tell us and we received something back from the post office and saying that they're no longer at that address and we couldn't get in touch with that person, they have a quote I on their registration, and they would get purged if they didn't go out and vote within 2 federal elections. So people need to call and check their registration.
And y'all are not notified at the death of you follow the death thing, or does the parish let you know when a death certificate?
Actually, the state has a system in place where the Department of Health and Hospitals, we have a monthly report of the death list, the felon list. We do have a list every month that we go over. We also do, people will call in and we'll double check it with, in the newspapers with the obituaries and things of that nature. But there is a system in place.
What about the military? How do they vote to this? How can they vote? Our boys overseas, can they vote?
Yes, they can, and the Secretary of State has really, have a lot of strides in the past few years. I've been there since the summer of '05, and they can actually have a mail ballot sent to them. If it is in an area where they don't think in a time frame overseas that they would have time to get a mail ballot back to them and back to us, it can be faxed to overseas and military, and they can fax in their ballot back to us. Of course, giving up their rights to privacy to the staff in the office. But they can do that, and if they're not, if they don't have a fax accessible, they can also email now with permission from the Secretary of State. So,
listeners, and of course Paul says it, and I say it, and Gibbons says it. If you don't vote, hush.
That's right, exactly.
I'm not gonna mention any names, but I got a couple of constituents of mine that are constantly yapping in my ear, but they're not registered voters. Will you hush, please?
Yeah.
If you can't make a difference,
sure.
Why open your mouth? You can't make a difference. You cannot. If you're not gonna go pull a lever for anybody, good or bad, I don't care what you do, but just go vote.
That's right.
Pull the lever. That way you can at least.
Right. That's right.
You can at least make a difference. It's the only right we got.
That's right.
Voting is a true freedom, and that's about the only thing that's still a true freedom.
They talk about New Orleans 50% Saturday maybe, but 70% for president.
That would be awesome.
I think the last president was 60%, but that's a shame, 60%, 40% of the voters didn't go vote.
That means there's lots of complacency, because I'm telling you.
They don't care.
Look at the national election. Look at the campaign this year. Have you seen a renewed interest or a bigger interest in voting for this coming national election?
Well, actually,
or you don't see it till after it's over?
Well, actually,
new people.
we've always been involved in it, but I've seen the interest come in the office. You know, I've always been interested in the election system, and even more so since I've been there at the registrar's office. But you're really seeing a lot more interest, even as far back as the summertime in the June and July months. People coming in, making sure they registered. Even in May, we had thousands of registrations come in from groups going around to register people to vote, and it was amazing the amount of registrations that came in.
Now, the secret there is, can that be carried over to an election when they actually will go out and pull a lever for somebody? You know, getting them registered is one thing.
Yeah, right.
Getting them out to the polls is another.
That's
Correct.
a big
That's another.
That's a big
yeah,
thing.
we're hoping with
that
the
it transforms into a vote.
Right, exactly. And I mean, if somebody doesn't know there's a presidential election going on right now, I really don't. They must be under a rock somewhere, because really, it's everywhere.
No question about
it. And it will be a very interesting race to see happen.
Gene, the two biggest problems in the world today are greed and apathy. People, are greedy about everything.
We're going through. Look at what we're going through right now because of greed.
Right. People don't care. If you don't go vote, you don't care.
That's right.
Well, the other two ladies from the office are actually at the high school this morning, Thibodeau High School. They're going to be there taking registrations at a General Assembly. The high school called us, and we'll go out. If one of the high schools or any organization calls us, we'll help out with the voter drive if our schedule permits it.
Yeah.
And one of the ladies there, Tanya Griffin, she actually, in her speech or her little talk to the class, will be that she has seen an election change with one vote.
Yes, Robert Knockey.
That's right.
So they need to go ahead and realize that, yes, it does matter, and your vote does count. And
most of those seniors are 18 years old already, yes, right?
Sure. I mean, again, it's a simple thing to do, but it's a necessary thing to do.
You have to be proud. You have to
absolutely. You got to want to. I like going
proud
vote.
of your country. Sure. That's right.
Like I'm saying, if you don't vote, how can you have a voice in the country? You don't.
And don't
if
complain.
You don't. That's right. You hush your mouth. I'm sorry. Unless you pull that lever, hush. I don't want to hear. You don't have to vote for me. It doesn't matter who you vote for, but you got to go pull a lever for somebody. You got to be a participant.
That's right.
If you're not a participant, then you don't have a say so in what's going on. I mean, it's that plain Jane.
It's like when you don't buy a ticket to the Saints game, don't come.
You ain't going. You don't buy a ticket to the lottery and you don't win. I wonder why. Duh.
I heard of that.
You got to buy a ticket. You got to participate.
That's
so
right.
it's the same with voting.
That's right.
Couple of things before you go. Tammy Windowshafer. That's not a Cajun name.
No, it's not a Cajun
or maybe you can try to tell me how it is if it is.
Well, I'm from here. I'm from Louisiana. Grew up in
We can tell.
And my husband is actually from Rhode Island.
Ah, therein lies.
What was your maiden name?
Thibodeau.
Thibodeau Windowshafer. Boy, that's great, huh? Tammy Thibodeau Windowshafer.
Yeah.
Boy, Tidbits likes those kinds of names.
You think women don't have the influence?
Yes,
she married a guy from Rhode Island. Where do they live? Thibodeau, Louisiana.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And who wears the pants in the family? I do because she lets me.
No, believe me, it's a partnership, and
you bet.
He enjoys being down here. The food he loves, and we actually going back up to Rhode Island for Thanksgiving. So.
Oh, great.
Oh, it's gonna be gorgeous up there.
And I didn't realize this, and of course I've been kind of out of touch lately, but I heard you and Gibbons talking. Mr. Diaz is still actually active and is still the actual registrar.
Talk about a sterling man.
Yes, Mr. Sterling Diaz. He is, I tell you what, anything you need to know, you just ask.
Absolutely.
He's on it.
He is amazing.
Well, he's got to be a walking encyclopedia.
Oh, he is. He is. It's amazing the amount of information, what he's taught me since I've been there. And, he was back in the day when, of course, with the census and the reapportionment, and, if you need to know anything, he's just as good. He's a walking map. So all you have to do is ask, and he lets you know what you need to know.
We might get him here one day, honey.
Yeah, it'd be a good show. How many, before we let you go, how many precincts in the parish?
There's 71.
71, right here in little old Lafourche Parish. Hold on, let me take this call. Turn your radio down. Thank you. Good morning. You're live, KTIB. Hello? Oh, I didn't mean for you to hang up. Just turn your radio down. You call back 447-6409. 447-6409. Listen, when you call in, you got to turn your radio down because the feedback it feeds back, and we can you have no idea what comes through these headsets when it happens. Go ahead, Miss Tammy.
The one thing I do want to remind everybody of is that this Monday coming, October the 6th, is the last day to register to be able to qualify to vote in the presidential election. So you can either come into our Thibodeau office or our Galliano office and register, or you can register by mail. You can go to our website.
Okay.
And it's www.lafourcherov.org and download the form and mail it in. And as long as it's postmarked by the 6th, you will qualify to vote in the presidential election.
Okay, that's registration only, because we were talking during the break. Any change in voter registration, any change in status cannot be done right now.
Correct.
The rolls are closed.
The rolls are closed to changes right now because we are between a primary and a general election. So if people want to submit changes right now, if they are registered and want to submit a change, we will hold on to them for after the November election.
So the only thing you can do, listeners, up until the 6th of October is register to vote. And listen, if you live in Lafourche Parish, anywhere, I don't care where you live, if you're not registered and you're over 18 and you're not a convicted felon, go register to vote. You got until the 6th to do it. I mean, just go register to vote. Vote in the election. There's one this coming Saturday. Hey, let's get a good turnout in the city of Thibodeau, in the parish. Let's get that done. And for the general election, let's have some record turnouts in this area, because that's what it's all about, you know. And the good side of that is, and I bet you Tammy can back this up, is the more people that vote, the more accurate the election. Sure. Because the more people you have participating, the better chance the candidate, the right candidate will get elected. You know,
right.
How many times you hear people, I wish I'd have gone and vote.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, why didn't you?
That's right.
You know, I wish I'd have. Why didn't you? You missed your lick. You know.
Absolutely.
Well, and it's too easy. You know, we have a week of early voting, which starts for the November election. Early voting starts October 21st and ends October 28th.
Oh, you can vote in
So
advance.
It's a Tuesday to Tuesday.
Oh, okay.
And they can come in and early vote at our office here in Thibodeau or in Galliano.
One other thing too, before you go, Tammy, commissioners. Do you have enough? Are you always looking for commissioners, or how does that work? What do you have to do to be a commissioner?
Actually, the commissioners, Mr. Vernon Rodrigue is actually in the Commissioner of Elections in this parish.
Okay, that comes out of his office.
That comes out of his office,
right.
Yes it does. We actually did employ 4 additional people to help us during early voting, because we're expecting a very big turnout through our offices for early voting. So I know he has all his commissioners set in place, as far as I know, because they were picked. They're going to be the same commissioners that work October and November. So, you know, but he's always interested in qualified people, and, you know, anybody who would want to go to his schools and go out and take the test and learn about being a commissioner. He's...
Shoot, we'll get Vernon on to talk about that. That'll be a good program, huh?
He's wonderful.
Yeah, that'd be a good show.
He's been there a long time. He knows everything.
Miss Tammy Windowshafer from the Registrar of Voters office here in the city of Thibodeau. Tammy, thanks so much for coming by.
Thank you.
Really, really appreciate it, and we'll try to do this maybe like on a quarterly basis.
Okay.
Put me on your calendar.
Okay.
And we'll do this every 3 or 4 months and bring you on, and we can talk about Registrar of Voters, some elections coming up, some changes and whatnot.
And then what I'll do is I'll go ahead and check Mr. Sterling's schedule, and then he can come.
Oh, yeah, I'd love to have that. That would be an awesome show. You bet. Thank you, Tammy.
Thank you.
Listen, don't go away. We got Gib Robichaux in the house. We got a ways to go yet. Pour yourself a big old cup of coffee. If I can get to the right ads, we'll be right back. I hope here at Oldie 640 KTIB.
I love that. I love names. I write a column.
The Common Ground Alliance reminds everyone to call 811 before you dig. Call 811 before you dig to have buried utility lines marked for free and prevent disruption in vital electric, water, gas, or phone service. Remember, safety is a shared responsibility. So dig safely and dig confidently after you call 811. For more information, go to call811.com.
Hi, this is James Blake. For an athlete, there's no better feeling than coming from behind for a win. At Shriners Hospitals for Children, that's what kids do every day. When I was young, Shriners Hospitals helped me overcome my battle with scoliosis. Shriners Hospitals for Children is a one-of-a-kind hospital system dedicated to improving the lives of children. They provide pediatric specialty care for orthopedic conditions, burns, spinal cord injuries, and more, all at no charge. Shriners Hospitals also educates physicians and other healthcare professionals and conducts innovative research that leads to improved quality of care for children around the world. It's how Shriners Hospitals help kids do what they otherwise couldn't. And through the generosity of the Shriners fraternity and community donors, this high-quality care is provided at no charge. You can help kids come from behind and win.
Call 1-800-237-5055 for more information. Shriners Hospitals, helping kids defy the odds. Right here in the Shreveport area.
Hi, this is Bo Brooks. Hurricane Gustav has been and continues to be a very difficult time for all of us. Having stayed through the storm and its aftermath, I have personally witnessed the tireless efforts of our citizens trying to rebuild and resume their lives. Because of these challenges, the October 4th election is now more important than ever. The time to start working toward our future is now. We can't go back to the politics of the past and expect to keep the city of Thibodaux moving forward. On October 4th, elect Bo Brooks, Thibodaux City Council. Bo Brooks. Progress, not politics. Paid for by the Bo Brooks Campaign Fund.
Getting it together, getting it together, KTIB, getting it together.
And now, back to Dialogue on 640 AM.
Passing day, I do love you all the more, and it's only you that makes me feel this way, the gift I've never felt before, and I love you for all of my life.
Man, I like that song.
Oh, yeah.
You know, joyous. I got to get off it because I know the listeners are tired.
Joyous is a great word.
Oh, man, joyous sounds. And this guy just wrote a song for his wife on his wedding day.
Yeah,
man, oh, man. Anyway, back to Oldie 640 KTIB, 447-6409. Tammy was on the way out the door, but we got one other thing we forgot about. There are 7 constitutional amendments on the ballot.
Yeah.
And study them beforehand, I guess, huh?
Yes, right. A lot of times when people come in to early vote, they don't realize, oh, we had amendments on this ballot.
I know that.
And it's 7 constitutional amendments, statewide amendments proposed. And on our website, we do have a link to a nonpartisan view of these amendments. So please study up, be ready. The voting will be heavy and the lines will be long, so please be prepared when you go to the polls.
Yeah, study them beforehand and try to get an opinion on them. Because if you go into the booth and start reading the amendments, you'll be there forever.
Right, and you have every voter generally has 3 minutes in the
booth itself.
In the booth itself, unless there is somebody who is utilizing one of the handicap assessments, either the audio, and if somebody needs help in the polls, assistance, they'll get. I'm pretty sure I'd have to check on this, but I'm pretty sure it's up to 20 minutes that they have if it's somebody with special needs.
Yeah.
But just a regular voter going in has 3 minutes. So please be prepared, study up on the amendments, and be ready when you get to the polls.
Tell you what, listeners, we're going to go over them here because before the election, Linda, our girl Friday, just gave us the Public Affairs Research Bulletin on the amendments. It says... it tells you about each one. It says you decide or vote for what it would allow or vote against what it would allow, and it tells you all about the amendments. So we may get Paul Leslie on here one day. We'll talk about them and go over them right before the election.
You got a month and 3 days.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Tammy Window Schaefer, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it coming on and stay in touch.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Tell Mr. Sterling we said hi.
I sure will.
You bet. Bye-bye.
Gene, talking about $1 billion again.
That's a lot.
1 billion seconds ago, Obama was 6 years old. Palin was 3 years old, McCain was 34.
1 billion seconds?
1 billion minutes ago, Christ was alive. 1 billion hours ago, dinosaurs were alive. And $1 billion spent in Washington, D.C. every 20 minutes.
Wow. I got to believe that. Hang on. Good morning. You're live, KTIB.
Gene, to understand right, somebody can have up to 20 minutes to vote?
If they have special needs.
As a past commissioner years ago, when everybody had 3 minutes, and I'd pull their pants leg and their skirts and let them when the 3 minutes were up. But there's such a thing as a person having a slip of paper with a number and how they want to vote.
Yeah, right.
That's bull.
Yeah.
You got to be prepared, just right.
Yeah. And by the way, you don't pull levers when you push a button.
Well, whatever you do, you know. Heck, push the button, pull the lever. Just go out there and make sure you do either one.
Well, look, when you had leading politicians, everybody had a slip of paper to know what number to vote.
Absolutely, exactly. That's how you went. That's how they went into the booth back then.
And that's what should be enforced, and not just 20 minutes. I can see somebody waiting 20 minutes for somebody in the booth.
I think that's the extreme rather than
You're damn right that's the extreme. I feel better already.
I'm glad you do.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ron.
Don't forget, Tom Simon called during the break. American Legion board meeting tonight. For those of us that are on the board at 6 o'clock at the American Legion Hall. Tom doing a good job, and everybody concerned that's playing a part in that, bringing that organization back. We just got to keep it going. So board meeting tonight at 6 o'clock at the American Legion Hall for those of you that didn't get the message. We'll be there tonight at 6 p.m. Billions, billions, billions. The magic number seems to be 700 billion.
So, Gene, I tell you, numbers are amazing. Do you know there's 94 Richards in the phone book and 49 Robichaux?
In the Thibodeau book?
Yeah. Uh-huh. Who would know that but me?
You actually sat there and counted them?
Yeah. And and I want to tell you another thing before we go.
We got time. Go ahead.
They had a thing on Grand Isle the other day. A black man was fixing up his camp down there. Guess what his name was? Gustav.
Yeah, you're right.
I love names. But $1 billion is something else. I got to read this from, Silas Griswold?
I never met the guy. He's just a little old. He was a little older than me.
1862.
Yeah, you probably remember him.
Look, he wrote a whole book. He wrote all of his things in the service. He was in the service,
Okay.
And it was in a village in Greenville, Mississippi, where melons and chickens grow spontaneously, and every day large numbers of them were brought into our camps. Pollard was also remarkable for the manufacture of an article facetiously called beer. This is the first time beer comes up. Listen to this. Persuaded by the eloquence of one of my friends, I once invested 5 cents in a mug of that article that drank part of it. I studied over it a while and came to the conclusion it was composed of dishwater, soap suds, old buttermilk, and rotten potatoes mixed together in a gopher hole. Dipped out with an old shoe and strained through a saddle blanket.
I don't like that guy.
That's what they drank 5 cents.
I don't like that guy. Beer tastes way better than that.
You're never going to drink beer again.
Absolutely. No. He would never change my opinion of beer, I guarantee you that. Silas Griswold. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to get the mayor to name that bridge across the bar, that walking bridge down by the Griswold Bridge, but we'll do that at a later date.
How important a role he played in this area, Gil?
Oh, yeah. Uncle, he was mayor 3 or 4 times.
Right.
And he's just amazing. We're going to do this. We can do a whole story on him one day. Just check my website. My column.
Looks like, and I didn't see the internet I didn't get a chance to get on the internet this morning, but it looks like there'll be a vote coming up, probably today or tomorrow.
Yeah.
On the appropriation.
The Senate pushes back to this morning.
Yeah. And it looks like it's going to be in increments now. 100 million here and 100 billion here.
Yeah, that's 700.
250 billion here and 350 billion down the road as needed and whatnot. And if you notice, they changed the language.
Yeah.
They quit using the word bailout, and now they say rescue.
Rescue. That's right.
You know what? Come rescue my mortgage.
I know. Right.
Come rescue Fred's 401k.
That's right.
Come rescue
because
all.
700 billion, you divide that by the number of mortgages. It's not everybody gets 75,000 back. The
mortgage. I was yesterday. Somebody was saying that in the United States, the amount of home mortgages are, I think I'm correct, 13 or 14 trillion. Trillion. And that this particular segment of that whole industry is 3%.
That's right.
I guess a bank and correct me if I'm wrong, and if there's an in fact, we got economists coming on tomorrow, but if there's a banker out there listening, if you had a portfolio of loans and 97% of them were good and 3% of them were bad,
yeah, right.
I think you did a pretty good job.
Absolutely.
Would that be considered good in any? I mean, I have no idea.
People think that everybody's mortgages are gone, but
3% of the total industry.
3%.
I guess if a bank lent $100 and it got 97 back plus the interest, I think that's pretty good deal.
Yeah, I think so too.
Right. I don't know. I don't know what's norm in that industry or not, but 3% sounds like
it amazed me
a pretty low delinquency.
The stock market did yesterday. It's amazing. It came back almost 400 points yesterday.
Yeah.
Because they begin to see these kind of things we're talking about. It's 3% of, if we're talking about that, it's not. The way they make it a big, huge. Everybody's going to die. Everybody's going to be.
Yeah, I mean a dire. I guess I'm a little.
Banks.
I don't know. I guess I'm concerned about the tactics that they use to try to push and then there are those, and like I'm telling you, I am like a duck out of water. I know nothing about this, except what I hear and what I read. And believe me, this is so far above my head, you could put 3 step ladders on top of it, and I couldn't get to
that's
it.
Right. No,
all right, but
we don't understand that.
Just from what, first of all, I can't fathom those numbers, and the second part is it's totally out of my league. But just from what you hear and read, the fact that there are some economists that says, you can go ahead and put the money up, but you really don't have to do anything.
No,
because the system will take care of itself.
It's going to take care of itself.
And Paul Leslie kind of alluded to that yesterday. And we got John Lajani, I think, and Bruce McManus coming on tomorrow. And we're going to talk about that.
That's right.
What would happen if we did nothing? How bad would it be if we did nothing and let it take care of itself? Because you've said it during your course, during your lifetime.
That's right.
I've said it. Eventually, the chicken's got to come home to roost. Prices cannot be rising the way they were rising.
Right.
The economy can't keep growing at the pace that it was growing. This can't go on forever because if it did, in 3 or 4 years, you'll be paying $20 for a gallon of milk.
That's right, exactly.
The wages just can't keep up with that.
No.
So, I mean, eventually there had to be the thing I hope that comes out of this. I hope prices stabilize.
Yeah.
I hope the home market stabilizes.
Price of gas continues to go down.
I hope gas gets down to where it's. I hope everything becomes reasonable.
That's right.
And nothing's out of line. If that happens, and we can live the next 30 or 40 years like we did in the late 50s and early 60s, that would be a pleasant time.
That's right.
To live.
I think it will happen again. That's right.
Things were stable, I guess. If we can get some sort of stabilization in this country.
I see where Obama and Biden and McCain are all back up there this morning. They're all back in the Senate voting.
They need to vote.
That's right. They need to vote.
Everybody. I don't know. I'm just.
They haven't been up there.
Man, and I guess I shouldn't even feel this way, but we were talking about this off the air yesterday. But when you go through this country, like you go through this country, and you've got a presidential election coming up,
that's right.
And the best you can do is Obama and McCain, we got a freaking problem in this country, buddy. I mean, we really do.
I know.
And I don't mean that derogatory against either one of them. I'm just saying.
But these things are happening now. It seems that they were set up to happen at this time because it's going to affect the election. You see.
I don't know.
People are blaming McCain and people are blaming this and blaming that.
This really is a place blame right now.
Why would it come around at this time?
Yeah, I wish Congress would lose the word bipartisanship and partisan. Lose those 2 words, bipartisanship and partisanship.
We don't need
and look out for this country.
Absolutely.
Let's all be Democrat Republicans, and let's all be Republican Democrats, or whatever the hell we got to be. But stop all of this crap and let's do what we got to do.
You're right. That's all right.
Anyway, well, I'm just telling you, because let me tell you, just think about this for a minute. How much has bipartisanship and partisanship hurt this country? You think about that over the past years.
Absolutely.
Huh? Think of the votes that didn't go the right way because a person was a Democrat or a Republican. Think about that. You think that's right?
Oh, no.
You think that's fair?
I don't know.
No way.
two-party system started, but I don't agree with that at all.
I don't care if it's a 20-party system. I'm saying when it comes time to pull a doggone lever, you forget your political affiliation and you vote for the good of the country.
That's right.
Damn the politics.
That's right. Liberal and conservative.
But I mean, what the heck do I know? Hey, listeners, we got to roll.
That's right.
I got to go to my day job. Oh, man, let me tell you, I get on I didn't mean to get on a soapbox about that, and I should have said, I don't care. But anyway, that's just the way I feel.
Well, sure, that's nothing wrong with that.
Gib, thanks for being with me this morning.
I'll come back in the last Friday and talk about it again.
You bet. Tammy Window Schaefer from the Registrar of Voters Office put out some really good information this morning. Listeners, make sure you pay attention to it and listen. You can still register to vote up until the 6th of October. We will talk about the constitutional amendments here before the election. Today's Wednesday, I will do my best. I'm just looking at my calendar. I want to try to get the 3 people running for city council on before Saturday. I will try to get that worked out for you, and maybe we can have them Friday each for 15 to 20 minutes and at least let you meet them and say hello. I'll see if I can work that. I'm not going to make any promises on that, but I'll see if I can work that out for you. Listeners, have a good day today. God bless you today. God bless you every day. Hey, we got Nicholls State University, John LaJohny, and probably Bruce McManus coming on tomorrow. We're going to talk about this doggone economy because they're going to look at it strictly from a dollars and cents perspective. So stay tuned. God bless you every day. Do something nice for somebody today, and we will see you tomorrow here at Oldie 640 KTIB.